Metroid. Now I've replayed this a, a couple of years ago, and I was talking to you about it. And I'm on the first screen. I'm like, I can't wait to play. I can't wait to do this. And I'm like, I can't get under the little spot because I can't turn into the ball. And you're like, and I don't like any tips, right? I never look on the internet for tips or anything. And you're just like, go left. I'm like, go left. It was the first game, and it got me back in the 80s. It got me a few years ago. Like everything, Mario, everything. You went to the right. This game started off with a little trickery. You had to go to the left to get the power up to turn to the ball. And then you go, I must have sat there for 15, 20 minutes saying, what the hell? What am I doing here? And then on top of it, like I said, I don't like to look. I don't look at anything on the internet. So I make my own maps. Dwork, show my map.
What map?
The next slide, Dwork. There it is.
Oh, so many secrets.
So many secrets.
Oh my God.
So I'm drinking Bud Platinums at night, and I'm making this map.
This isn't when you were like 10 years old. This is like a couple years ago.
you saw me do this about 3 or 4 years ago, and I'm sitting there, and in my head I'm thinking, there's so many secrets, and I wrote so many secrets. But yeah, there's my map of Metroid, which makes perfect sense to me. I'm obviously no Mike.
It looks
Brady.
good.
I'm no Mike Brady, that's for sure. So I'm playing Metroid, and so recently I had so much fun with it, so much fun. But when I was younger, I got up to Kraid, the boss, and like we didn't have the internet or anything back then. We had Nintendo Power, which would come up. You would get little tips here and there in the in the magazine, which was that was kind of cool. And they do articles, but they also had a Nintendo Powerline. And I couldn't beat Kraid. I'm just a young kid. I'm I have good intentions. I call up. I'm like, I can't beat Kraid. I don't know why I sound like Dwork when I did that. I can't beat Kraid.
Well, it doesn't sound like you're very good at video games.
You son of a bitch. Right, listen,
again with this.
Last week he said wrestling was fake. This week, well, Dwork, I got a little warning for you.
There he is.
Oh no! Oh no!
Don't make me put him in. He's begging to come in, Coach. He's begging to come in. All right.
Beat him up in 5th grade.
You guys went to school together? What a weird ass school that must have been. A Dwork and an Alf in the same class. Who would have thought? But I called up this line, and they're like, how many missiles do you have? And I was like, I don't know what I said, like 75. They're like, you need more missiles. Go kill yourself. Then they hung up on me.
And it cost you $12.
$12. Yeah, my 1-800 number.
Looks like
Nintendo Powerline.
Looks like they gave you the right advice.
That might be the best Dwork yet.
There he is, James.
Get him
Don't make me break out James. Don't make me break out James. Wouldn't it be funny if next I pull up the actual Haiti kid? He's like, hey everybody.
Hey
everybody. Hey.
Let me
Tag me in. I got the Haiti kid right here. But yeah, they told me to go. So that's a little joke between me and you now. Like whenever we suck at a game, we just say, go kill yourself. That was their,
that's that big advice.
Later, I saw a documentary that talked about the power line. It turned out they were just a bunch of goofballs like us playing games back in the day that all shared maps with each other, and they had to remember a lot of stuff. So who knows who I got on the phone that day? But if you're watching now, what shitty advice you gave, for crying out loud. Yeah, I could have beaten Kraid with the amount of missiles. Now, later on in life, I know that. Shame on you, Nintendo Powerline. So what was the big secret at the end of this game? What was the big secret? What was the big reveal?
The big reveal was the game, and the game booklet that came with the game referred to Samus as him and he. And
even in the book it said that?
And yeah, they did. Wow. They tried a bit of trickery, but then when you beat the game, and this was one of those games too, that had multiple endings depending upon how fast you beat the game. So if you had the best ending, I think she stripped down to like a bodysuit. And it was a girl. It was a girl with hair, or whatever. And then I think if you
blew my mind.
Yeah, it blew all our minds. It wasn't. We could control a girl this whole time. What? Please.
What?
But of all the games on this list, this is probably one of the most nostalgic ones for me. I mean, this came out in 1987. I spent a good part of it of a year discovering all the. I mean, you were bombing every wall and shooting every brick, and there was some parts where you're like, I can't get. Once you get down to the bottom of the map, you're like, how the hell do I get back up? And that's the clue. You kill yourself, and then you start back at the top of the level.
Like I said, so many secrets.
so many secrets.
And that they're my favorite games. Like Resident Evil has a lot of stuff like that nowadays. I love games like this where you had to find things. And if there was a manual back then like there is now, it would have really upset me, because that amount of time that you spent bombing things, that like honed your gamer skills for later on in life. Like
right.
Really, that was boot camp for us, trying to figure out how to get all those things done.
And another thing, I mean, you before the big reveal, it was, now that you said Resident Evil, it reminds me of that when you beat the final boss, the Mother Brain, that's not the end of the game. You have to escape.
Yeah.
Just like in Resident Evil games, when the building's going to explode or whatever laboratory you're in.
And the little timer's going off.
Yeah, and you got a timer going off, and you have to make these precise jumps with an imprecise, controller. And one slip and you're screwed. And
you're a little 8-bit jumping around, and
right, and you're spinning this way and spinning that way.
You're right. You think you're done the game, and it had I'm gonna say it again, so many secrets.
So many secrets.
They kept revealing themselves.
For the Metroid. The big gripe I have about this game is there was no map, no in-game map. Even a couple of the games came with a map in the instruction booklet. This didn't give you any clues on what was going on.
Yeah, you saw mine. That's what I had when I was young.
Yeah, that's tough to work with. Super Metroid for the Super Nintendo system.
Awesome.
Yeah, that cleaned everything up. That gave you a map. That gave you locations to save. I like the no map though. I like the struggle. I like struggling. Yeah. Those were the days.
It makes us stronger, I think.
I think so too. They did have a continue code system, and there was codes back then to get full energy tanks and missiles and start you right at the Mother Brain. Basically, you'd have to navigate through the last area where the dozen Metroids were.
Right.
So they did have codes like that, and so that was kind of revolutionary too in 1987. When you're thinking about it, there wasn't really continues. It's like you played the game and left it on. If you had to go through something, you had to leave the game on.
A lot of our games screwed us like that.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of it. And
then you come home and either your brother or your sister or whatever shut the game off. You're like, oh man, I was halfway to the Mother Brain.
Yep.
Now I gotta start all over again. The other thing about Metroid 2 is about killing yourself. It's the right thing to do, because you start off, when you die, you start off with I think like 30 energy, and you have to farm no matter how many energy tanks you have to farm all that energy back before you can even take on Ridley or Kraid or the Mother Brain.
Don't even risk it. Yeah,
it's not even worth it. So
so maybe Nintendo Power was onto something.
They were onto something. I was
mad. I was mad at that advice back in the day, but yeah, it's a great game. A great game. And when I replayed that, I also replayed the Super NES. And
that's another. I mean, that was an incredible game,
unbelievable game. So yeah, so Metroid's definitely on our list.